And thanks for everyone to join and spend some time with us talking about preparing for the holiday. We've got a real interesting season coming up with everything that's going on. And so this year will be different than others. And so we thought this session would be useful to help people think about framing their holiday plans a little bit different as we get into the summer season and most of the plans are starting to be created. So I think the first place to start is acknowledge that the world has changed and the way that we celebrate occasions has changed fundamentally, right? And so who knew a year ago that we'd be doing things like birthday parades for your 10-year-old or virtual coffees because we can't get together in person, doing Zoom birthdays, think Mother's Day, Father's Day, kind of that missed opportunity of being in person. That seems to be something that is fundamental to human habit at this point, given where we're at. And so the effect on shopping this year will be huge. There is kind of a shred of hope here, though. With crisis brings kindness, and Commerce Next did a survey with BizRate and found out that more than half of consumers said they're actually gifting at a higher velocity during COVID than before. And they're taking advantage of opportunities to share sentiment with people around random acts of kindness between friends, coworkers, etc. And of course, we saw a huge demand grow in the donation space as people were out there helping others. This translated really well to retail, right? This is just one case example of what we saw, and Loop Commerce powers a gift experience management platform that gives us a unique focus on consumers that are shopping a path for others versus themselves. And so we always analyze data through that lens. And so what was interesting about this is that we saw in this one case study a increase in traffic of 42%. Meanwhile, the site sales were up 150 and the orders were up 200%, and gifting indexed even higher, right? We were at 278% increase in sales and 244, almost 245% increase in orders. And so, of course, digital penetration is up, site sales are up as a result of it. And then, as the consumers told us before, they're actually doing what they said in the survey, and they're buying more in favor of gifts. And we're also seeing this battle happen kind of in the last minute, right? With the lack of ability to reliably and safely shop in physical locations. In the case of Mother's Day, what we saw through platform was an increase in the last minute participation in gifting. And we saw that over 2019 in a pretty significant way. So moral of the story here is keep that in mind as you're going into holiday in terms of messaging up funnel as a viable place to buy all the way on down towards the last day or day of the December holidays themselves. Those are still battleground moments in retail. And so where do we see failure right now, or where are the opportunities, right? This digital revolution has transformed so many humans to think differently about how they acquire products on a day-to-day basis, and even those highly considered purchases. Why hasn't gifting kept up? And we think it's been fundamentally left behind in the digital revolution. We all know it's been hard. It's always been hard. And now it's actually even harder because people are seeing each other less. The opportunity to be in stores is less out there for us. And so this exercise of self-shopping or shopping for others has gotten even harder in the last couple of years. Given the conditions of now, it's even more difficult. And so first, let's start with acknowledging that shopping for yourself is fundamentally different than shopping for others. Most retailers that I know over the last 25 years working in this industry focus really hard and spend tens of millions of dollars in man hours chasing the almighty shopper in service of them when they're shopping for themselves. They don't often contemplate what's different about it when you're buying for somebody else. And so in the apparel context is a really easy way to think about it. We call this the gift experience gap. We know it impedes commerce, and we know that there's opportunities to get around that. So in apparel, for example, it's easy for me to know my size, color choice when it comes to selecting the apparel that I'm wearing. That's a much harder thing to do for somebody else. And going back to that real-time sort of nature of how people are living, and they're always up against the clock for delivery, the idea of the urgency behind the gift is something that comes up when you're talking about a shopping for others paradigm. And so these are some considerations. And it maps to just quite frankly, lost opportunity in retail, right? Especially as everyone puts the countdowns on their front door 3-4 weeks in advance of those holiday moments in December, saying, hey, if you don't get your order in by this date, don't bother coming back because I'm closed for business. And that's a sign you never put on your physical door. And we do it all the time in digital. And so it creates this lost opportunity, and especially now with what we're dealing with COVID. So let's recognize first, gifting is not it's not a feature, it's actually a strategy. And the experience needs to be better than I got the product into the driveway on time, right? This is supposed to replace a terrestrial experience that we've always had, where people actually engage each other. There's an emotional component to it. And in this case, you've actually got two consumers to worry about: the person sending the gift and the person receiving the gift. That's a very unusual use case for most retailers because they're dealing with people that just buy things. So it's really important to consider that end-to-end experience. It's really important to offer great choice in products that are merchandised really well for the shopping use case. And gift cards is obviously part of that. There's a percentage of people that will always buy a gift card. There's a percentage that will never buy it. And then there's those in the middle that'll buy depending on what the occasion is, relationship, price point, things like that. Think about gifting well beyond the consumer-to-consumer enablement within your first-party environment. People love gifts. I know I do. I'm sure all of you do. Why would I not enjoy or want a gift as a customer appeasement, for example, if something went wrong with an order that you sent me? Why would it be impossible that people are buying gifts in bulk and they don't want to go through and buy 200 items one by one and have them delivered to individual addresses? It's not impossible to think about all of the partners and the customers and the loyalty side when it comes to gifts. You do curate great products through your assortment, put them to work in all the touch points across the organization. And again, keep in mind that you've got both senders and recipients, the gift giver and the gift recipient. They're both your customers, and it's important that the brand experience is great for both of them. A couple of data points to consider going into this season. Gift card sales themselves in e-commerce are up significantly, 55%, 54% year over year, and e-gift cards are up 44% year over year. Our older demographics are adopting digital tools at a much higher rate. And so this is just something to think about as you go into your UX reviews, going into the fall season. And it turns out that millennials are probably going to be the most stressed about the current financial situation. 22% of them and 29% of Gen Zs lost their job during the crisis versus 8% of our friends in the boomer demo. And so the money is going to be with the boomers this year. So a couple of recommendations or to-dos. One, optimize that experience end-to-end specifically for gifting. Try to carve out a mindset going into testing for path to purchase and shopper journeys that's specific to the gifting use case versus just how it's performing overall. Give yourself a chance to win in the last minute and be deliberate about it. Make yourself available, right? Don't put up that close for business sign because you're open. You're online 24/7. It's always available. So those countdowns can drive some demand up front, but then you're out of the game in the last minute. So be careful about how you merchandise there. Play to the boomers, right? Make sure the UI is thought about and tested through all of the demographics that could potentially be at the site. We think we're going to see a spike in boomer activity going into fall. And so you may as well have a chance to participate there. Design journeys specific to the shopping use case itself for gifters, from very top of funnel all the way down to checkout. What are the things that you need to do to make sure that you're set up well to win? And then lastly, plan for the unknown. I think there's a lot of different stories and narratives out there right now about what's going to happen in the next 3 to 4 months leading up to the Christmas holidays. It's important that we're prepared for any potential shift in the way stores are reopening, the traffic patterns that are going online and offline. And so be nimble, be ready to be agile, because you're going to have to serve a bunch of different scenarios at a regional level, even in the next 3 to 6 months. So that's kind of the setup. With me today is David Markle, a longtime friend in the business who's worked at a number of different great first-class e-commerce businesses over the last decade and a half or so. I've known Dave, and so excited to have him here to talk about gifting. He runs UX at Omaha Steaks. And Dave, I wanted to open it up by introducing you. Great guy, huge insights, always a fun person to talk about. So really excited and happy that you're here to join. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Omaha Steaks, what the brand stands for, and then your role? What type of functions do you perform for the business?
Absolutely. So I hope you're familiar with Omaha Steaks out there. But Omaha Steaks is a fifth generation family owned business, one that has really built a trusted brand for premium proteins, known primarily for incredible cuts of steak, really good steaks, butchered by hand, aged to perfection, vacuum packed and flash frozen to lock in the flavor and juices and texture. You know you're going to have a great experience. That's what our brand is built on. We offer unparalleled cuts of steak, like the butcher's cut filet mignon, which made our company famous. The Omaha cut ribeye, which is a new cut that we recently created, which is a thick ribeye that's cut from the heart of the ribeye. And private reserve ribeye crowns, which are a really just the most incredible steak that you've ever had. If you haven't had them, go out and check it out on omahasteaks.com. Omaha Steaks is always a terrific gift. We've been known in the gifting side of our business for a long time. Food is a terrific gift, and over COVID, food has been an even better gift. At Omaha Steaks, the customer is at the top of our organizational chart. Everything we do is done with the customer in mind. I lead our e-commerce product and UX teams, where we're focused on building an e-commerce shopping experience that customers are going to love. We value user research. We develop a deep understanding of the customer and their journey. We focus on UX best practices in our design. But we also like to innovate. And where we innovate, we test and we validate and we iterate to achieve winning results. Our team is very scientifically oriented and data-driven. We deliver experiences that add value for the customer and the organization. We always have an eye on maximizing our investment in our custom e-commerce platform. We have a terrific development team, and we love building great experiences. That's kind of the intro for who Omaha Steaks is and who I am in that mix.
And you're doing a great job. And you guys are well beyond steaks, right? When this COVID crisis started, I stocked up with our Omaha order, and we went outside of steaks this time and went into other foods, and it was just fabulous to have it on tap and to prepare a quick meal and a delicious meal at that. So everyone loves food. Any meat lover, any carnivore out there loves Omaha Steaks. What kind of patterns are you seeing around gifting in general, both consumer to consumer and B2B?
Yeah, well, first off, I'd say it's been really humbling and gratifying to work at Omaha Steaks during this period of time. So many of our loyal customers have relied on Omaha Steaks to supply them with really quality food that they can trust. And it has gone well beyond steaks during this period. So we've seen a lot more of the, chicken, pork, franks, hamburgers, a lot more rounded assortment. People are looking to fill their freezers because they're hunkered down and trying to stay safe. So it's been a really great experience to try to serve that. Like all good businesses during this time, we've gone to great lengths to protect our employees while ramping up our capacity to serve a growing demand for direct delivery of our products. And we definitely saw something very similar to our holiday sort of peak rush during the COVID period. We really refocused our efforts on the merchandising, production, and fulfillment to optimize our assortment, to maximize capacity, and serve as many customers as possible in a timely fashion. We facilitated a lot of change through a daily stand-up call that ran 7 days a week throughout the first several months of the pandemic. That cross-functional daily stand-up is now a part of our daily routine to stay focused on what matters. And I see that continuing well into the future, if not forevermore. COVID has really changed our business and how we think about customers. One great thing that Omaha Steaks was able to do was to partner with Feeding America during this time and to help them provide meals for families in need. We were able to kick off the partnership with Omaha Steaks, donating 100,000 servings of protein. We offered our customers the ability to purchase packages that allowed them to participate in that program as well. We, on the B2B side, we definitely made a push to help employers deliver packages to their employees that were now at home and not coming into the office every day. And we supported local businesses as well. For our employees that needed to go to the production facility, we provided lunches for them every day. And we really drew on the restaurants that are pulling our product in as well. So we were able to kind of reward some of our customers as well on the B2B side. So lots of great things going on. And really, it was a great time for us to, innovate and do a lot of things that we'd wanted to do for a long time to really help our customers. So it was it was rewarding, exciting, and challenging all at the same time.
Great. Well, you're one of the great UX minds out there in the business. Dave, I'm curious how you think about your self-shopping path differently from your gift shopping path from a consumer journey perspective, and what are some of the learnings that you had from that over time, the time of evolution that you can share with the audience that might be useful to them thinking about going into the holiday seasons?
Yeah, well, we definitely, self-buying and gift buying are two completely different personas. And so when we do our research around those consumer journeys, we're recruiting different customers. Those scripts for our user testing and feedback sessions look completely different. We're definitely thinking about, the mindset of those customers. So a customer who is, shopping for gifts is thinking a lot about budget, timing of delivery, getting it there at the right moment, presentation of the product, how it's packaged. Those are very important in the journey of a gift giver. And so, they're filtering in a different way. They're looking at the products a different way. So merchandising and content is key. Having the right product images, the right product naming, making it relevant is very important. Having the right product bullets, the benefits that you're focusing on for a gift buyer are much different than the benefits that you're thinking about when you have a self-buyer. So, they're thinking about that presentation, really wanting to do something good for their gift recipient. And so we definitely think about all of that. And it's a totally different marketing mix as well. And so you're thinking about how that journey flows through from the marketing all the way through the gift buying experience. We also see that we have a multiple recipient system that we built so that a self-buyer comes in and they buy one big shipment, they ship it to themselves. When we have a gift buyer coming in, they're likely to be buying for 3, 5, 10, 50 people. And so giving them the capabilities to buy something and ship it to multiple people is very important as well. So we've built a very robust multi-recipient cart that allows us to ship products to many people. So there's a lot that goes into it, obviously. That's what I've got for you there.
Well, I have about 20 more questions, but I'm seeing the hook coming from the side of the stage in the form of Veronica. So we'll cut it off for now. But Dave, thank you so much for joining and sharing some insights. I wish we had more time. And Veronica, over to you.